Hey guys, Boss Ramos, and another week, another Miami Dolphins loss. It seems like this is how the season will go. But yes, they start off 0-2 in not such a great hole. You know, nobody wants to be in this position, especially me as a Dolphins fan right now. I do not want to be in this spot. But it is what it is, and things are not looking bright with the upcoming opponent being the Buffalo Bills on a short week on the road. So, you just compound all those things, and things are not looking good for this Miami Dolphins team very, very early into the season. Now, with that being said, Dolphins lost today 33-27. It was a back and forth game for the most part, and the Dolphins never really seemed to have full control of it. They got up to 20 to 15 at some point, but then that's when the back and forth started happening. Games started getting a little bit crazy and a little hectic, honestly. But we're going to go through stats, team stats, and then just my thoughts and kind of reiterate what I thought the Dolphins could have done to win this game and how they executed on that, whether or not they did or not. Aside from that, we're going to go straight into the highlight. Disclaimer, I don't own any of this footage. I don't have the rights to it. So YouTube and the NFL takes it off whenever they please. So if there is a weird jump in the highlight, just know that that's the cause. But we're going to get straight into it. We have Mike Vrabel visiting Miami the first time as a Patriots head coach. Meanwhile, Mike McDaniel on the hot seat. Things are not looking great for him and his Fins. But off to a hot start. The Patriots have two back-to-back scoring drives. First one to Mac Hollins, second one to Keishon Butte. But Dolphins said, you know what? Let me get in on this one. Jalen Waddle gets in for 6, and he does a little waddle with me. Anyways, A-Chang gets up the middle and gets spun around. Somehow burrows his way in for the end zone for 6. What a move by H.N. But coming out of the half, Drake May makes Matthew Judon miss the shoelace tackle and gets in the end zone for 6. Man, this game was crazy. How about this? Malik Washington getting into the special teams business. Makes a whole group of guys miss. One guy to beat, he gets him, and it's a foot race to the end zone, and he gets in for 6. One of the more shining moments of Malik Washington's young career, and he's been having some big-time plays here and there for the Dolphins towards the end of last season, and now going into the season making key contributions. But how about this? The Patriots said, anything you can do, I can do better. Antonio Gibson with a kickoff return touchdown on the ensuing kickoff. You can't make this stuff up, man. Patriots reclaimed the lead there, and the Dolphins were within 3, and we'll see what happens here. Tua throws a pick. Man, oh man, this looked like it could have been a game-ending interception. Luckily, Dolphins defense was able to make a stance and at least force the Patriots to kick a field goal, so it gave the Dolphins another chance. But the only problem is they're down by 6, and here goes today's hero, or what could have been today's hero, should he have not stepped out here. H.N. was getting into the end zone for 6, but he steps out right about there. You see a lot of orange and white between his shoes, and the sideline not so great. Anyways, we move on. 4th down, and Tua gets sacked, and so does the Dolphins' chances of winning this game. They drop to 0-2, and Mike McDaniel is officially on the hot seat if he hasn't been already. So those are the highlights. Hopefully everything stays in the video. Please don't remove stuff from me, NFL and YouTube. But we're going to get into some individual stats. Then we'll talk about how the team performed statistically. And then last but not least, whether or not they performed well in terms of how I thought they could have executed and won the game X, Y, and Z. Obviously, not so well if they lost. But let's talk about Drake May. He went 19 of 23, pretty efficient day for him. And he had 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and was sacked 3 times for a loss of 19. Meanwhile, Tua on the other side, pretty efficient day passing. 26 of 32, 315 yards. And 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and sacked 5 times for a loss of 18. Not a lot of yardage on the sacks, which is pretty good. But at the end of the day, getting sacked 5 times, that's 5 times you didn't get the ball off. That's 5 times that the team could have progressed the ball forward. Instead, the ball went backwards. So, Tua did a pretty good job of stepping up in the pocket and trying to extend plays. But a lot of moments there where, just get the ball out of your hands and hope for the best. I understand they want to be a little more cautious with the football and not put it in positions to be intercepted. But, man, some of those you just got to let go. But I don't blame him too much. The pocket was just collapsing on him a lot. He had to step up a bunch in this game. Let's talk about rushing. Ramondre Stevenson was the Patriots' leading rusher with 11 carries for 54 total yards. Following him was Drake May with 10 carries for 31. Patriots had 122 yards on the ground rushing, which isn't too awful, honestly. I think the Patriots had a pretty balanced attack, and I think the Dolphins did a decent job at limiting the running game. Let's talk about Achane. 11 carries for 30 yards. Malik Washington, 3 carries for 23. Now when we get to receiving, you wouldn't guess it, but Ramondre Stevenson was the leading receiver for the Patriots. He had 5 receptions for 88 total yards and a big gasher for 55 total yards. So that was a big shocker there. Everyone else on the Patriots was limited to under 40 yards. So I think that's pretty decent by the secondary, but at the end of the day, a lot of these plays, Dolphins DBs play fighting with the receivers, like hand fighting with the receivers, and could not make the big time play of swatting it, of just disrupting the receiver's hands. It just, what are we doing here? Anyways, let's move on to the Dolphins. Tyreek Hill eclipsed 100 yards the first time this season with 6 receptions, and following him was Achane, 8 receptions for 92, Waddle, 5 receptions for 68. Not so much production from the rest of the guys. The next leading receiver was Akine, and he had 2 receptions for 18. Following him was Ingold, 2 receptions for 13. D. Eskridge, 1 for 8. Ollie Gordon, 1 for 5. And then Malik Washington, 1 for 2. Let's talk about fumbles. Drake May fumbled, but Garrett Bradbury had recovered it. Garrett Bradbury fumbled. Drake May recovered it. My apologies there. Leading tackler for the Patriots was Jalen Hawkins. He had 8 total tackles. Meanwhile, Tyrell Dodson was the leading tackler for the Miami Dolphins. Guys who got tackles for a loss are Marcus Jones for the Patriots, Milton Williams, and Clavon Kaysen, and Christian Barrymore. As far as sacks go, Milton Williams got 2, Robert Spillane got 1, and Kayvon Chasen got 1 as well. I'm trying to find where the 5th sack is, unless one Milton Williams had half a sack with someone else. They both got 2.5 sacks. Anyways, Dolphins sack goes to Jordan Brooks, Chop Robinson, and Bradley Chubb. Jalen Phillips was close on a couple plays, but could not bring down Drake May, and that was pretty unfortunate. Marte Mapu is the sole interception in this game. He had returned it for 20 yards. Kick returns, Antonio Gibson had the 1 punt return, kick return for a touchdown. That was a 90-yard return. Meanwhile, Malik Washington had the 74-yard punt return for a touchdown. Not too much else in the special teams game. Aside from that, Andy Borregales went 2 for 2 on field goals, but 1 for 3 on extra points, and that's what really kept the Dolphins in the game early, and really kind of played with how this game went about. Not too many punts, but Bryce Behringer had 2 punts for 136 yards, longest of 71. Jake Bailey had 2 punts for 88 total yards. Let's talk about certain team statistics that, are really disparaging when you look at them. The Dolphins were 4 of 10 on third down. The Patriots were 7 of 12. So Dolphins did not do great on third down, obviously here. Dolphins were also 0 for 2 on fourth down. Patriots were 1 for 1. Let's see what else. Time of possession favored the Patriots. They had 33 minutes of possession. Meanwhile, the Dolphins had 26. Just certain things here. Penalties. 10 penalties for 65 yards. Meanwhile, the Patriots had 12 penalties for 75. So you can't say that it wasn't fair for the Dolphins. There were a few moments there where the Dolphins just got stuck in their own ways. And like the clock management, sometimes it was just not great. It is what it is. Oh, man. All right. Let's talk about what I laid out as ways the Dolphins could win this game and if they performed on those. So, first one was protect the football. Given that late interception, I would say Tua did a pretty good job protecting the football alongside no one from the Dolphins fumbled the ball. So, ball security was there. I will say that first interception that got called back, lucked out that the fact that it got called back, but that was a boneheaded interception and it was early. It was like the first drive of the game, I would say, for the Dolphins. And then later in the game, you're just kind of forcing things. You have to get down the field. At that point, yes, they were down 3, but still not really in field goal range. And then on top of that, you know, it is what it is. The one interception I will take. It's unfortunate when it came in, but you know, it happened, and it is what it is. Moving on, I said they got to get to the quarterback. They did a decent job. They got 3 sacks on him, but there was a good amount of times that the Dolphins' defense was just so close to bringing down Drake May, and weren't able to do so. So those are certain things that, you know, yes, there were 3 sacks for the Dolphins, but could have been probably 5, just like all the Patriots got, maybe even 6. So definitely a couple big time plays where the Dolphins defense, specifically the front 7, could have made a big time play there and a stop, and unfortunately they weren't able to. Now, when we keep it moving to the last one, was getting these skilled position players involved, and not enough of Ollie Gordon, but everyone else. Tyreek, 6 receptions for 109 yards. Devon Achane, 8 receptions for 92 yards. Jalen Waddle, 5 receptions for 68 yards and a touchdown. Achane, a little bit more action in the running game would have been appreciative, but it's just the way the game played out. Dolphins were a little pass happy in this one. But 11 carries for 30 yards. And then Ollie Gordon, I said he should have been involved more, and unfortunately they didn't. 1 carry for 8 yards, and then 1 reception for 5. So not so much action there for Ollie Gordon, but I do think they involved those skill position guys on offense, and you know, it almost paid off. You know, the Dolphins were competing in this game. They were close in this game. They were leading for a good portion of this game in the early stages of the third quarter. But the game got turned on its head, and it was going back and forth there for a minute. And unfortunately, the Dolphins could not come out on top, even with a lucky break towards the late end where they were able to force the Patriots to kick a field goal. Dolphins could not go down the field and score 6 points to at least tie it up. So it was a touchdown or bust, and unfortunately, Dolphins busted. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you stayed up to this point, thank you very much. Really appreciate you guys. Wouldn't mind if you guys subscribe and like this video. That would be cool. And comment what you thought of this game, what frustrated you the most, what were you the most happy to see be executed or whatnot. But yeah, had a good time. It was a fun home opener, and the vlog will be coming out soon, so be on the lookout for that. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.